Then Bailey asked you to do a podcast and fucked it all up.
Thanks, asshole.
Before we begin, let's thank our great sponsors. And if you want information on how to become one, you can go to jasonbailey.com. Much love to Inspect All Pest Services, because bugs, termites, and critters, they don't belong in your house. Inspect All handles pest control, termite protection, and wildlife removal. Here's the number one reason to use them. One company that does it right the first time. Bonus, they also take care of insulation, pressure washing, and gutter maintenance all across Atlanta. Less calls, less stress, better results. InspectAllServices.com. If life makes you Google lawyer, call the Aurora Law Firm. Led by the Mad Dog, Manny Aurora, this Georgia-based team handles criminal defense, white-collar cases, DUI, expungements, and more. Nationwide. Number one reason to call the Mad Dog, they know the system and how to beat it. The Aurora Law Firm, because oops needs backup. TheAuroraLawFirm.com. Life gets heavy. Stress, work, relationships, all of it. That's where Ridgeline Counseling can help. Led by Dr. David Markwell and a team of 10 therapists, Ridgeline offers in-person sessions at 3 of his Georgia locations: East Cobb, Marietta, and McKaysville, or virtual visits wherever you're at and most comfortable with. Number one reason to choose Ridgeline, you don't have to do it alone. Ridgeline Counseling. Real help when you need it. MarkwellTherapy.com. Power goes out, not at your house, if you call Alternate Power Solutions. They're a family-owned Generac generator dealer, founded in 2012, handling sales, installation, service, and repair for home standby and portable generators across Georgia and Tennessee. Here's the number one reason to use them. You don't pay a dime until the job is done and you're 100% happy. Every customer gets an upgraded warranty, free monitoring with a service contract, flexible financing, and they actually keep generators and parts in stock, plus an A+ rating with the BBB. All you have to do is call 770-853-7571 or visit poweringgeorgia.com for a free home assessment. Use the discount code Bailey for $500 off your entire installation. Alternate Power Solutions, because losing power shouldn't mean losing your mind. Tired of struggling to get in and out of the tub? Meet MVP Walk-In Tub and Shower of Atlanta. Beautiful, safe, and affordable bathing solutions that actually make your bathroom work for you. This family-owned local company focuses on installations that elevate comfort and accessibility. No high-pressure sales, no commission-only reps, just honest, hassle-free service across Metro Atlanta. Here's the number one reason to call MVP. They make bathing safe, easy, and enjoyable. Schedule your no-hassle appointment, 404-493-6888, or you can go online to nvpwalkins.com. Don't forget to mention the BPX, the Bailey Podcast Exchange, for $2,000 off MVP Walk-In Tub and Shower, because your bathroom should feel like a retreat, not a workout. Looking for the ultimate wellness boost? Meet Alive Ozone Therapy Spa, Central Florida's first and only ozone therapy spa. From ozone therapy to red light therapy, halo therapy, presso therapy, PEMF grounding mats, and even in-house ozone-infused products, Alive Ozone Therapy Spa's got everything to help you feel amazing, inside and out. Repair, rejuvenate, and restore your body. Here's the number one reason to try Alive Ozone Therapy Spa, because they combine cutting-edge therapies with natural holistic care. Go online to AliveOzoneTherapySpa.com. Use the discount code BS10 for 10% off your services and products. Alive Ozone Therapy Spa, because feeling your best shouldn't be optional. Thanks to all of our sponsors. And with that being said, let's begin the show.
I think we should do a podcast about rock and roll. And that's what stories.
Yeah, let's do it. Welcome to the Vinyl Road Podcast.
Yeah, there it is. Episode 34 of the Vinyl Road Podcast. It is all in the BPX. That is the Bailey Podcast Exchange. 3 different shows, 5 days a week, one feed. A couple of those episodes for the BS, by the way, Tuesdays and Thursdays. Those are for subscribers and subscribers only. So if you would like to subscribe, which I would muy appreciato, you can go to jasonbailey.com. Also, all our merch is up there and all of our great sponsors, and how you can contact me, and our social media is up there as well. All right. Thanks for being here. My name's Jason Bailey right there. That's Mr. Brad Stewart. Hello, sir.
Hello. Hello, governor.
What a week it's been for us.
It's been a fucked up week, man. Shit. I'm like, dude, this controversial shit. I don't know, man. Like, What the hell? We're just over here trying to have a good time and talk to our bro from, old band like stories and like, talking about Maryland and just good shit. And all of a sudden, all hell breaks loose. Dude, I was not expecting any of that, honestly. I mean, I know we were planning to recap that because I feel bad, man. It's tough for me, dude. Like, I love Barry and like, I'm fuck, man. I hope he's not,
Yeah.
I hope it's, I hope it blows over and it just goes away and it's going to be okay. Right. I mean, I don't think Ludacris is going to take the bait. He hasn't yet, right? As of Tuesday.
Well, don't put it that way.
But I'm just saying though, like that wasn't our bait though. I'm just saying the bait of them putting that one little thing out there and it fucking,
let me explain.
Making headlines and shit,
Right, let me explain to those that don't know first of what we're talking about in general. Last episode of the Vinyl Road podcast, we had Barry, the drummer of Shinedown, of course, Brad's old band. And this is the first time, this was like a beautiful moment. This is the first time those two have been in this type of setting since Brad's departure from the band. That was the objective. Not like I sat there and wrote it down and said, this is the objective of the show. But in my world, I'm looking at it going, this is going to be awesome. Listening to you guys share stories, be around each other. I know you guys have been around each other outside of having a microphone or a camera in front of you, but for the fans of you guys, this is going to be very exciting for them. In that conversation, we talked about the healing process when Brad rejoined the band in Ocean City, Maryland, some great old school stories, blah, 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 all this great, positive, cool rock and roll stuff.
Yeah.
In all of that, I asked a question because I was curious of, is there any kickback or backlash of Shinedown being on the Rock the Country bill? Because it's kind of Kid Rock's thing, even though it's a concert with a lot of great artists, rock and country, to celebrate America and our 250th anniversary coming up. The perception is not reality, but there's a community out there that looks at it and goes, oh, it's a fascist show. It's a bunch of racists. You have those types of people.
Of course.
And Shinedown's always been apolitical. Not that this concert is political, but we all know that charcoal gray area. And Barry answered honestly. And he said, oh my God. And I didn't expect him to say this. He said, yes, the knives are out. People are mad. Some people are mad. Some people aren't mad.
Yeah.
Ludacris was one of those acts on this bill, which I thought was cool.
That would have been great to have him on there. Dude, he's playing the TPC coming up. That's a golf tournament in Ponte Vedra, right? So that's kind of an interesting show for him. So I don't know why this was any different. I mean, I guess he was just getting a lot of shit for it, though, too, and right?
With the racist overtone in the golf world.
Well, no, I'm just saying. Well, dude, the best golfer was black for the longest time, so no, that shouldn't even be an issue. Like but I mean, a gangster rapper though. I mean, is he still thought of as a gangster rapper? Like I remember Ludacris when he had Word of Mouth. That was awesome. It was hilarious. Like his videos, it had a sense of humor to it. Like he's awesome. Like so no, I'm just saying that. I wouldn't, I would expect a different choice for a golf tournament than a rap act. That's all I'm saying. That has nothing to do, or Eminem, whoever. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't expect that, but that's what he's doing here coming up.
I see.
And Ponte Vedra, that's what I'm saying. I would expect, something different than him.
Flock of seagulls.
Not even that, man. Like, I don't know. Just
Cross.
Who?
Christopher Cross.
Yeah. Something real mellow and like light and like a light adult contemporary type artist.
Yeah, I get it. I understand what you're saying.
I mean, because you're coming like I wouldn't see Saliva playing the thing with heavy guitars and you get what I'm saying there. But anyway,
I'm surprised Saliva's playing SeaWorld coming up here February.
So am I, honestly, dude. It's gonna be fucking like 6 degrees when we do it too. By the way, I know you're coming, but you better bundle up, bro. I saw that and I was like, wait, we're playing outside, and I saw the low's 23 in Orlando, and the high is 45, but the feels like is going to be like 8.
I didn't realize it was going to be that cold for this long here in Orlando. It was chilly today. That's why I'm wearing my big hoodie, but it's not that bad. I could still go outside in shorts, maybe not in the morning, but I didn't realize at SeaWorld for the Saliva gig on February 1, it's going to be it's going to feel like 8 degrees outside.
Shit, man. And if anyone that knows, but playing in weather like that, like the guitars, like it's hard to keep them in tune. It's just, and your fingers don't move, and and it's hard for me at least to wear gloves and play. I don't like that. I have to have my hands on the instrument to play, dude. So I don't know, man. I'm gonna be like in a leather jacket, I guess, and a scarf and the whole shit. Maybe look like an Ewok, or what are those things? Those Jawas. Have like a full on hoodie and just be.
So if it's going to feel like 8 degrees at the Saliva gig at SeaWorld in Orlando, February 1, are you going to be able to concentrate, slapping the bass, and seeing Shamu frozen in a big piece of water?
I know. Are people gonna? Is it even open when it's that cold? Like, fuck. Are people gonna show up? It's so weird. Like, it's always a roll of the dice past August, September, when you have outdoor shows, and I don't care where you are. But I guess they were like, "Oh, it's Florida, Florida in January, Orlando, it's fine. We'll do an outdoor festival or two or whatever in the early part of the year." Not really that smart. Sorry, dude. Like, that's gonna be it's gonna be tough. Well, we're gonna do it, but I'm just saying, like,
I'll be there with my hand warmers, all right, and I'll be all bundled up. I'll bring a shawl for you. So
come on out, yeah. And it's funny. Bobby's actually on Shiprocked, and I was like, man, even Shiprocked, it's probably cold in the Bahamas. I haven't looked
on the water to get there. It's going to be real cold.
Yeah.
So
I'm wondering how he's doing out there. He's doing like the how they have the stowaways, where it's people from different bands and they kind of get up together and jam and stuff. So he's doing that, and he's literally, I think that ends Saturday. And he's gonna go right to Orlando, and then we play Sunday in the fucking in the Arctic blast temperatures,
the Arctic tropics.
Yeah.
All right, so back to this Rock the Country thing in the Barry from Shinedown being on. So I asked Barry, what, has Shinedown got any kickback for being on this lineup? And he said, to my surprise, he was like, yeah, a bunch of it, Knives Are Out, whether it's the vocal minority or what, and I, brought up Ludacris, not to live there by no stretch, because Ludacris got backlash, kickback from his fan base, and he pulled out for whatever reason. I mean, I don't think there was ever a statement. It just, people just assumed that that's why he backed out. I don't care one way or the other. I was using that as an example of, if that were the case, would Shinedown ever do the same thing and pull out of any show? Barry says no. Yeah. And then he, in conversation, voiced his opinion on, I think, not just Ludacris, but any actor, artist that backs out because of outside influence, if I were going to interpret it, and said he's a coward for doing it. We didn't live there. It was just a quick second or two in like an hour and a half show.
It's just passing too, and it literally, and he said, in my opinion, moved on. That was it, right? Yeah.
And we didn't live there.
No,
trust me, if it were anybody else, I would have, but I didn't for a reason. Now, truth be told, being in this business for as long as I've been in this business, and for the most part of it been a publicity whore, because you always need outside attention in order to grow your brand within your bubble. And sometimes, whether it's this show or any of the other shows that I do, I'll send them out to different rags, online rags, to see if they'll pick it up. With this show, it's a lot easier because Brad's here and Blabbermouth will pick it up and our guest will be on and say something. I did not send the show any information, any of the social media clips that I post. I didn't send that out to anyone. Zero. And not on purpose. I just didn't do it. I don't know, lazy, I guess. Anyway, the day after it's released, or a couple days after it's released, it's everywhere.
The shit hit the fan, dude. It was like, I kept it different sites left and right coming up with slightly different versions of the headline of what was said. And
Let's
I'm
talk
like,
about that. Let's talk
man,
about
that's some fucked up, because that's terrible. And my friends are writing to me and they're like, dude, like I listened to the whole and watched the whole thing. That yeah, I'd have to say it was blown way out of proportion, because y'all did not focus on any of that shit. Y'all were talking about the good old days in the band and the, you know, for most of it, and the things that happened recently, and they were just like, I think that sucks, you know.
Yeah, I'm
for everybody involved, you know. So
and so hats off to your friends, whoever reached out to you, because here's one of my biggest issues in the podcast world, at least speaking first person here, is that, you know, I post these social media clips that are about 60 to 90 seconds, and they're a very small portion of one piece of content from said episode of said show.
Yeah.
And you have, you know, keyboard warriors that will go all in just on that 60 to 90 seconds, thinking that's all encompassing and that's everything, and not doing their due diligence, which is one of the problems in the world today, right? Is people don't educate themselves. They don't do their own research, so on and so forth. So it's just that little clip. These comments that I read on these different online rags absolutely blew my mind how dumb people are. Like literally how dumb people are. It made me not mad. It made me sad to know that they're out there. Like that's real. I mean, you read them, right?
I did. You know, I a lot of times I'll avoid the comments because that's all, they're just throwing rocks, and they try to dig into you and try to get in your head or fuck with you. And no matter who you are or what you say, they're going to say shit about you. That's what some people go there just for that.
Yeah.
They don't even care who it is. They just go to read, to see what clever, fucked up shit people said about said person. And I'm just like, that's entertaining to you? Like, oh, awesome. I mean, get a fucking life, man. You know, like, that's fucking dark. I don't know. I mean, to get off on that kind of shit. I mean, right? I don't know, man.
I said this on the BS podcast this week, this week. And this is the example I want to give, because some of you people might be watching this episode, waiting for us to kind of recap it or want to get mad again or whatever the case may be. But here's the thing, is that most of us, either currently or at one time, have or has worked for someone that has a difference of opinion, whether it's politically, religiously, sexually, whatever the case may be, something you don't agree with.
Sure.
You've never quit your job. You're not showing up to work. You just find a way to work within the parameters and have boundaries so everybody can do their jobs, because the greater goal is bigger than your feelings, right? Which means your greater goal is to serve steak, or the greater goal is to sell blankets, or whatever it is that you do, fix cars. That's the greater goal. It's the same thing with musicians.
Yeah.
It's a job. And you've heard time and time again on this podcast from different guests that we've had on, including Brad, that these days you have to tour to make money. It's not like the old days. That's where you make your money. So Shinedown did a gig. And if you would have listened to the entire episode, it's a job. They didn't even know there was all this hoopla associated with it. So, I mean,
and quite honestly, is that hoopla even real? It's made up shit. It's people starting shit because they're inferring, because who's on the bill, what they believe in politically. And maybe there is some of that, a little bit of that, but that's not the focus. Another one of my friends, a friend of mine, his name's Ronnie. I think he's Ronnie Jammin' James. He commented, he's black and plays bass. And I've known him I think he lives in Little Rock. And he was like, dude, I went to that last time it came through, or last year, last time they did that. And he was like, it wasn't about that at all. It was about people having fun, listening and playing and enjoying music together. You know what I mean? And there was different artists on that version of it too, right? I mean, it's like, come on, man. I don't know. It's just,
that's the problem. You know, there's the vocal minority that gets loud, fabricates an idea just because whoever's associated with. I mean, you know, Kid Rock is the poster child for Trump, right? In the rock world. So anything Kid Rock is associated with. Now, look, I'll tell you this. If you dislike Kid Rock, I love Kid Rock and I love his music and I like him. I've met him numerous times. I've interviewed him a bunch. I love the dude. But if he thought differently than I thought, I'd still love him. It doesn't matter. And if you've never been to a Kid Rock show, I'll tell you this, he does a really good job with keeping it fairly neutral. And I know it's probably tough for him, but I thought it was very well done the last time I saw him, how he kept it neutral. He's not calling anybody out. He's not going up to anybody, calling them a fascist or a racist or whatever. He's like, hey, dude, you know where I'm at? That doesn't mean I dislike you. I love you. And tonight's about rock and roll, because rock and roll, no pun intended, trumps anything else. Music trumps all that. And that's what concerts and music is supposed to be about, bringing people together. But, everything is so divided and segregated and compartmentalized, nothing's safe, I guess.
Remember Lollapalooza?
Yeah, sure.
I mean, you'd have Ice Cube on there, and then you'd have like the Jesus and Mary chain. And you would have like, and Ice Cube's up there going, fuck you, Ice Cube. And everyone out there is loving it. It was just, it had nothing to do with that kind of shit. I don't know. Now though, everything's so polarized and people are so knee jerk to react to anything. This guy was on here, that's a fan of mine, saying, basically calling me an asshole on the other episode before that. And I was like, and we did talk a little bit about things, but we kept it very general and we didn't take sides, but we kind of just talked about things. Right.
Yeah.
But then he clarified saying that, you know what, dude, it doesn't even fucking matter, man. It doesn't matter. His point was more of a generalization. It wasn't like it was attack on me personally. Right.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know what you're talking about, but
I digress. I'll tell you off.
Oh, it must have been a thing though. So you brought up,
pissed me off. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, dude, you call me a fucking asshole. You don't even know me, dude. Like, that's weird.
That's weird. So the let's talk about the headlines that came after last episode of the Vinyl Road podcast and what Barry said about Ludacris and the Rock the Country show. So none of the headlines talked about the first time you guys back together. None of the headlines talked about all the cool stories that you guys shared.
Yeah.
Okay? None of the headlines to that. I get it. Bleeds, it leads. They were Shinedown drummer Barry Kirsch rips Ludacris. Shinedown drummer Barry Kirsch goes after Ludacris. I mean, it was all those buzzy words, those op-ed piece words.
Skewers him or lampoons him, all that shit. I saw all kinds of shit, man.
Right. I'm assuming that, you've got young kids that are just, all they know is troll and hits and views and likes and stuff like this. They're not real copywriters. So they might even just use Chat GPT. Who knows? They're, for the most part, were all just that. And it kind of hurt my heart a little bit. I'm like, God, man, I thought these guys, some of these publications I'm not familiar with, but the bigger ones like Blabbermouth and stuff, I'm like, you guys are better than this. At least in the story or in the post, you could have expanded on it. Now, there were some of them. Actually, I took a screenshot. This one, like, because again, I know that you have to do what you do. I get it. Like, you want the dirt, and that you find that to be dirt. I don't know how you found the podcast to begin with, and that part of it, I have no idea. But Digital Noise Mag, which I've been told now since it's kind of a thing. I've never heard of them before, but their post I thought was fair. It was a long post. It was Shinedown drummer Barry Kirsch has sparked controversy by labeling rapper Ludacris a coward for pulling out of the 2026 Rock the Country Festival, the touring event, blah, blah, blah. Talks about the Vinyl Road podcast. But then he gives, then they went to talk about individual breakdown parts of the conversation. Kirch also addressed the tons of backlash, Shinedown. So it wasn't just focused on the Ludacris stuff.
Right.
It was others. I thought that was fair for what it was worth. The other ones were just making it a right versus left, a black versus white. I think I saw in there.
Yeah.
I'm like, Jesus, dude.
Did they even? Some of them didn't even really write anything. They had the headline, and then they had a little like intro paragraph to the story, and then they just took like verbatim like the conversation, right? And so to me, you can't really tell from just print where people are coming from. You know what I mean? It's I don't know. I just feel like that's lazy. If they had an opinion on it, write about it instead of just here's the headline. Now we drew you in, but then they just sort of. Is that journalism? Like copying, pasting, copy. You know what I mean? What is that? That's fucking. It's nothing. It's just it's clickbait shit, man. You know
that journalism that doesn't exist anymore. Now, I will say, as the week progressed, and all these different online rock-esque rags are picking up the story, I did see a few that instead of using Barry and Ludacris's picture side by side, they put Barry and Kid Rock. I was like, okay, that's cool. At least I get it, and thank you for doing that. I hope Ludacris doesn't respond, and there's really no need for him to, nor that I think he cares, just because I want it to go away. If this were anyone else, I would ride it. I would ride it. But this is probably the first time in my career, and this is not my fault, but I feel horrible because it's like one of those things that has happened. Yeah. And I know that Barry's upset in general. I'm assuming he's upset with me for whatever reason. And I don't want that because from this side of things, it's weird saying this to you, but I go way back with the Shinedown guys, but where I come from. I was the biggest supporter from the radio side of things since day one. And I've always been there for you guys through hell and high water. And I never, ever had a bump in the road. So now after, 30 years or 25 years or whatever the case may be, there's that first bump in the road. And I feel horrible that this is happening. I really do.
I know. I trust me, dude, I had very limited contact with any of the band, any guys in the band over the years. And finally, we reconnected last year at the show, and this was another way to bro down and have him on here and talk about old times and have some fun. And then this happened, and I'm just like, I feel horrible too, man. I'm like, I hope that he's not pissed at me. And our friendship was already, I'm trying to mend fences and shit, and with all of them, and just, look, I feel like I've forgiven and forgive and forget type shit, and let's move on and be cool now, and support each other type shit, and then Jason, I hope he's not fucking pissed at me.
And then Bailey asked you to do a podcast and fucked it all up.
Thanks, asshole. Oh man, I know, dude. It sucks because it's a tough situation, and once it went out there, it was like, you can't dial it back. You can't bring it back.
Oh, trust me,
you can't undo it at that point. And then I was just like, and then it just kept popping up. I'm like, oh man.
Have you ever been involved personally, not part of a band, whether it's Shinedown, Saliva, or Fuel, but personally, Brad Stewart, have you ever been a part of an internet lynching?
No.
Okay.
No, not individually. No.
I have. And let me tell you, you have zero control.
Yeah.
And the people around you, even though they want attention with certain things, when it gets too big, they don't want the attention. And then you become this bad guy quickly because of one feminist blogger's post on Twitter. I'll tell you what happened. When I first started my radio show in Atlanta, me and my partner were still forming chemistry together, which I don't know, after 10 years, we even never had. Our interview styles, one, he wasn't good at interviewing anyway, but either way, our interview styles were not go to junket and talk to somebody on camera. Like, that wasn't our thing. We're conversationalists.
Yeah.
And so, we had just started the show. We were asked if we wanted to come and interview the cast of the new Fantastic Four, which was Michael B. Jordan, Kate Mara, and I forget the other guy. I think the other guy was in the new Top Gun. He's like a big dude now, big name. They all are. And we're like, yeah, sure. This will be fun. It's cool. Well, the whole like controversy around that movie was Kate Mara and Michael B. Jordan were brother and sister. So how does that happen? That dude's black. She's white. It's not in the comic books like that. It hasn't been in any of the movies. It's a fair question to ask. Jimmy Kimmel the night before asked that same question to Michael B. Jordan. He laughed it off. Ha ha, funny. Well, they had been doing this junket all day. And for those that don't know what a junket is, the movie company sets up a room, a bunch of media people come in one after another, ask most likely the same questions over and over and over again. You remember those media tours, don't you? Same radio people, same questions, same over and over and over. It's tiring. It's mentally draining for you guys. I get it, but it's your job. I think we were the last to go. And we go up there and we're talking and it's just uncomfortable and awkward. They don't care because we're the last one. They're kind of dicks right out of the gates. So I asked the question about the black-white thing. Michael B. Jordan gets on his phone, ignores me. My partner at the time, his gimmick was to be kind of creepy towards women. And we're now entering the woke era of society. He compliments her toes, talks about her hair. It gets everything just went off the rails. So I try to save it and bring it back, and then we just leave. Anyway, we go on the air the next day, and I had my producer chop it up. So we looked bad. Like we explained how bad this was. Yeah. We didn't bash them. We just talked about how bad we sucked and how awkward and uncomfortable it was.
Yeah.
Within hours. No. Yeah, it was within hours. And I remember where I was at. I was watching a tennis tournament in Atlanta, Georgia, and my phone, Twitter notifications, pew, 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 messages, pew, 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 pew. Some feminist blogger got a hold of it, calls me racist for asking the question, my partner sexist. And it was the same copy and paste post all over Twitter. It was a Twitter thing at the time. Hundreds of thousands, if not millions gone.
Wow.
Big name publications across the world were picking them up. US Weekly picked it up. Michael B. Jordan's being asked about this in interviews following, not the movie, but us. Crazy. And dude, and I'm sitting here on the phone, like with my bosses and stuff. And they're like, you really messed up this time. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Jesus. God dang.
Question. So I know what it feels like. It sucks when you can't control the internet. Nobody can control the internet, but it sucks when you're in that spot.
Yeah. I mean, it just once the first thing got out there, like you said, things just started popping off, dude. And I'm like, man, and I'm texting. I get up the next day and I'm seeing this, and I'm texting with Barry, and he's like, dude, my phone hasn't stopped blowing. Like people are blowing me up left and right about this, and I'm like, fuck, because I'm sure they have a publicist too, and they have, of course, they are probably worried to a certain degree as an organization and as a band about what's going on here too. I have to imagine, right? I mean, even though I know they understand how it works, and I know how they understand that Barry is the most like non-confrontational, down to earth, sweetest dude. Like he's under the radar. He doesn't rock the boat. Like that's why he's still in the band after all these years. Me, different story, but whatever. I'm trying my best. But like, he's the one that was always like trying to have unity and not fucking with people or anything, in interviews and otherwise, man. And I see this happening, and I'm just like, fuck, man, this is not good. It's tough for me to see this, but I can't fix it either. And I feel like, he came on our show, and this shit happened on our show. So fuck. I mean, but I don't know what to do about it now, other than apologize and say, man, obviously that was not our intention at all. Here's
the problem when you apologize is that you have to be at fault for doing something.
Well, I apologize for the situation manifesting the way it did, obviously. Not that, it'd be hard for us to take the blame necessarily, like in that regard, right? I mean, because I didn't say it, you know what I mean? But I didn't promote it either. You know, like I didn't. It to me went over us like it was nothing, right? I mean, it wasn't meant to be hateful either. I don't think. I think it was more of like he's being that way, not he is that way, right? He's being absolutely a coward. He's not some coward. The guy's got balls, dude. Trust me. Like Ludacris, yeah,
110%. If I were to translate what Barry meant when he said that and how he said that, he was talking about Ludacris, but the idea, and that's his own personal opinion. If he feels that, artists, when they're booked for a show, you play a show, it's a job, you go, and now I'm sure it would be different if it were, I mean, it's a case by case situation. Do I think that he wanted to make it personal with Ludacris? No, I think in general, he was just saying, thought he was a coward for backing out.
Right.
It's not that big of a deal. It's for, the country, 4th of July, and you caved to the vocal minority. That's his point.
Exactly.
And I back that play 110%.
Right.
Never back down to the vocal minority. Ever. And I wish there were more people online that were backing his play and that idea of not backing down to, think about, Shinedown, Fuel, and Saliva for You. Obviously, Shinedown would have been the biggest band, right, that you were in as far as media attention. Mm-hmm. So, and that was in the early days of social media. Facebook hadn't even really reared its ugly head because that was 2004. So you guys are in that beginning stages of all that stuff. I don't think Instagram even existed, but
it didn't. It was MySpace was the thing.
Still MySpace, right?
Yeah. So, and then of course Facebook, those things followed, but yeah.
Do you remember, if you were to go back to your Shinedown days, the first time that you saw negative comments about the band and or you on the early days of social media? Do you remember that?
I do.
Yeah. Would you remember what they said and how you felt?
I felt terrible. I remember because it was like the second record cycle, and we had Guy Sykes was our tour manager. I don't know if do you know who Guy Sykes is. He did Pantera way back when, and it was kind of funny because we were this radio band and Pantera was not that way, right? So they would get completely annihilated and fucking shoot bottle rockets off in hotels and throw shit out windows and just go crazy all day because they didn't have to get up to do radio. They had all day to sleep it off. And you should see some of the old Pantera videos. He's in it anyway. So he's in there and he was just like, yeah. And it was Blabbermouth. Like Blabbermouth, that never liked the band. So, and even from its early beginnings of that platform there, they would bash the fuck out of us, dude. So it sucks when you're in a band and you're working out there and you're creating music and you're trying to break the band. You're trying to get out there and win fans over, and you're creating stuff that you feel is from the heart. It's soulful and it's good. And then to have people just fucking, they never even gave you a chance. They're just wanting to throw rocks at you. And you have to remember though, back then, and even now, Shinedown, it's not like that we were media darlings, right? I mean, it's not like we were on MTV. We never made it on TRL when I was in the band.
Your radio darlings.
Radio darlings, yes. But that's a, I mean, there's an audience, yes. But I'm just saying media. We weren't in Rolling Stone. There's a picture I think you've seen recently of us in Penthouse when Jason's holding up a squirrel, or Barry's holding up a squirrel and Jason's shooting at it. That was like, and the publicist, I mean, the guys at Atlantic really didn't know what to do with us for publicity. So they're getting us a squirrel story in Penthouse. Yeah, I mean, it was like they were trying it. We did Kimmel a couple times. We did Craig Ferguson. We did when I was in the band, of course. And then after I was in the band, the Sound of Madness really broke the band through. That was the biggest, like, man, we had teed it up, and those songs and that record and the way it was produced and the producer, everybody, and the label was on board finally. Because you also have to remember the label was not on board on the first two records. They were like, it was mainly Bill McGathy, the manager, and his staff, the agent, and the radio department at Atlantic that was responsible for, and us getting out there, of course, and touring the thing nonstop and doing shit for favors. That was what we did, man. You know, like, so now to see, and I mean, does Blabbermouth still have it out for the band?
I didn't know that story, so I didn't know that they had it out. I'm sure that there are certain bands that they don't like. You know, I never see, it's like, because I'm so biased about Shinedown, and but what you can't argue is that they are possibly the biggest active rock band, if not the biggest active rock band in the past 2 decades. I mean, you just look at how many radio hits, if you're going to base it off of that, and
Sure.
album sales. I mean, you cannot argue that.
But you have to remember, though, back in the day, there was some big active rock bands that got on MTV and that got these things. They didn't want to play 45 because of the content. I mean, it was like any reason not to put us on there. It was weird, man. Like, you know.
Yeah. Well, my point is that because, like, you can't take away the success of the band.
No.
And so when I see these comments of people bashing the band, you know, calling them butt rock or, you know, dad rock or
divorced dad rock. Yeah, fucking okay.
All this other stuff. And you go, okay, well, you might not like the band. And I've always said this about music, is like, you have your own opinion on something. Like, you might not like Pantera or Metallica, might be too heavy, Slipknot, something like that. But you can't say it sucks. You can say you don't enjoy the music, but you can't say it sucks, because there's an audience that would die for it. I've always had a problem with the word sucks.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone sucks at doing anything if you're getting paid to professionally do it, and you do it even okay. You don't suck at it, right?
Yeah.
You might have a bad day, you might miss, but you don't suck. Like, a professional football player does not suck. He's part of the 0.00001% of people to make it to that level.
Right.
He might not be good that day. That might not be the place for him. But as an athlete, or in whatever position he does not suck. There's a huge difference.
Yeah.
Right. You understand what I'm saying? So that's
I agree. I mean, and that's the thing, though. And then I'm like, okay, well, where's your band, bro? Where's your music that we can lampoon and discuss and talk about and see how great you are? Like, it just starts to feel like, I don't know, man. It's just unfounded. Now when bands go back and forth between each other, that's different, I guess, because now you're peer to peer and
right.
You're pro to pro. You know, that may be a little different. But when you have people that are just like, would you call them? I think I called them cyber courage comes out. Like they have this all of a sudden keyboard warriors, whatever, and it's just like, wow, man, like, I don't know. I just don't really have the energy to be that guy on there. It just doesn't really satisfy anything in my heart or my existence to go on there just strictly to slam a band that, okay, if you don't like it, then don't listen to it. I mean, whatever. Like, but to go on there and just take your time and energy specifically to bash shit.
I remember,
right? I mean, I don't know.
I remember when social media first, became an ugly cesspool. Yeah. And as a radio host, you have a lot of critics, and at first it bothered me. Like it got to me a little bit, but the older you get, the more you do something, the thicker skin you get, and you kind of understand where people are coming from, and you can't really gauge negativity. You can gauge constructive criticism, but not negativity. You just kind of have to have a thicker skin. I can't imagine being in your guys' shoes with that kind of audience. I've never had that kind of audience before, and just have hundreds of thousands of comments a day. And look, there's a theory out there that was one of the reasons why Chester from Linkin Park took his life, because that last album they did, which I loved, it was not Linkin Park-esque, and the half their fan base turned on them. And so, when you're so passionate about something, you've got nothing else in life, and that defines you. That's tough, man. That's really, really tough. So you guys get your fan base that turns on you. Brad sucks at bass and Saliva blows. And Bobby, Jesus. I mean, I hope he doesn't even go on social media, right? With the back and forth with Josie. That's tough.
It is. And I'm just like, did any of you even come to the show to even bash us? To get like okay, come watch us. I guarantee you. I mean, it's entertaining. We put on a hell of a show. Any of the bands I've been in, or I wouldn't be in the bands if I didn't think they were passionate, like a cool rock a thing to see. You know what I mean? And I feel like I give it everything I got. So up there and then some. So it's like there you are in a situation in a band, and yes, there's members and there's this and that happening or whatever, and every band has this. No band does not have some kind of bullshit going on, whether it's members leaving, coming, or singers and this and that, and then you have people's opinions on that.
Right.
And it's just like, okay, I understand your opinion. Is that going to stop me from being in this band and going out and do what I do? Your opinion?
Putting food on the table for your family?
Exactly. I get paid it's a job. Yeah. I get paid for this, and I have it. And they can't deal with that though. I'm like, no, well, thank you for weighing in on this, but guess what I need to do? I need to get out there and put the bass on and play the bass. That's what's happening.
Have you ever had a fan, quote unquote, come up to you in any of the bands you've been in and talk shit to your face, like what they would post on social media?
No. Not to my face.
Yes,
no.
side note.
I've had people sort of challenge situations in front of me and see how I would react. And dude, I don't take bullshit from people, man. I try my best on here not to fly off the handle on shit, but I'm like, man, like this is the wrong person to fuck with. So they don't most of the time. I mean, I'm not, like I said, it would be more about them putting the situation. Hey, I heard about this. And they may even say their opinion about this situation. And then they say, what do you think? Right. But it wasn't like an attack on me personally or my opinion of things and shit.
It'll be interesting to see. By the way, side note, Brad is like an 18th degree jiu-jitsu black belt Brazilian kickboxer.
It's not jiu-jitsu. It ain't even about fighting, but I'm just like, dude, like, fuck that. I ain't no. So you ain't fucking with me like that. No.
I don't know if you've taken this into consideration because you are new to this world, and this is a different world than your world. You now are people, your fans and fans of the show in general that have found us and so on and so forth. They're seeing a different side of you now, a side that they've never seen before, a human eye, because you don't do much on social media. You don't open your life up and you don't make opinions. And so this is the first time in your career, all these decades, that your fans actually, that's why that guy called you an asshole for the most part. He's like, I didn't know you thought that way. Well, now these people are getting to know you. And so I'm curious to see, however long we do this podcast together, as you go out there with Saliva and do your gigs and you meet people, and these people, we grow our audience for the Vinyl Road. They talk to you and maybe confront you and say, hey, look, I didn't agree with what you said, and I don't agree. I don't think that way. And I didn't think you thought that way. And now I hate you. And now I hate the band. Like, you're going to have to deal with that shit now. That, right?
Okay. I mean, look, man, I don't live my life for them or for that bullshit. So I just don't, never have, whether I'm on here talking about it or not. I mean, anyone that knows me knows that. So, and look, hey, if they don't agree, then now we can't be friends. Now you don't like the music because you don't agree with something. One thing I said on the fucking, on my show, on our show, you know what I mean? Like, okay, then if that's how thin skinned and how ridiculous you are, then see ya.
Yeah.
I can't live there. I can't. Yeah, I mean, you gotta fucking please everybody. And well, actually, now you've changed my mind, and now I agree with you. Thanks. And no, it's not fucking happening.
You can't. I'm convinced you cannot change a person's mind.
No,
about just anything. I mean, nothing.
It's probably easier to change a young person's mind, and that's the goal of a lot of the things that happen in this world, because it's easier to change a young mind than an older mind, because people get set in their ways and their belief systems, and
you got to influence, you got to program people at a young age, because once
right.
That's why they say, what was the age? I think it was like 32 or 28 or something. is the age that we refuse to accept any new music in our lives. Like there was like a scientific study done. Like when you get to that age, you're a grunge guy, right?
Right.
You always love grunge. Will never not love grunge. Everything else is noise, but you love grunge.
I love grunge, but that's different from, I feel like, people that are in the business, because I do like other things besides grunge. Of course. I like all kinds of shit, Well,
you might look at it from a different standpoint, as an artist standpoint. You're going,
sure.
Oh, dude, like, not a fan of that genre of music, but that bassist is real, and you can hear it because you can break it down.
Yeah,
I agree. Yes, you are correct. But
and to be fair, real quick, most of the time, before we're talking about people coming up to me, everyone's super respectful and they're nice to me. And if they do have opinion or something about the show, they'll usually mention something that we said on here, and usually we have a great conversation. So, look, I didn't mean to interrupt your flow there, but I just wanted to say that I appreciate everyone that's listening, and that want to hear our opinions, want to hear what we talk about, and our experiences in this business. So I appreciate the ever living hell out of that. But at the same time, and like I said, most of the time people they're coming up wearing the shirts and shit. I mean, that's cool to me, man. Like, that's reaching people, and it may not be reaching the millions of masses, but obviously someone saw that shit the other day and then it ended up all over the fucking the internet. So it's someone's out there paying attention,
All right. I love politically correct Brad. Pretty much what he's saying is like, dude, cool, let's have a conversation, but don't fuck with me after a show, man.
Right? Like, dude, I'm not here for that, man. I'm trying to entertain you motherfuckers. You paid a ticket to see the band. You didn't come out here to argue with me, did you? Come on. Because I didn't come here to argue with you. Shit, I left my house for this shit. I've been gone for fucking weeks on the bouncing down the road on a tour bus, going through the mountains, hadn't slept right in days and shit, Now you're going to argue with me? Come on, man. I don't need this shit.
Oh, dude, that's the hardest I've laughed all week. That's great.
I'm glad to help.
I like seeing the politically correct Brad. And like, it's like, hold on, dude. I just thought of, after what we just went through, hold on, I got to go back and I got to change that.
Well, don't worry, they're not going to pick that up. They're going to pick the other shit we set up. If they pick any of it up, it's going to be, no, he was being a dick. He said this, fuck this, and they'll take one little thing I said.
No.
Yeah. So
I guess we have to find one little thing. Who's our next guest? Kevin, right? He's coming on.
Kevin from the band Lit is supposed to come on. Yes. We were going to have him on this week, but I think we had to push. We needed to talk about things.
We'll have to come up with a question that will, Kevin from Lit trashes Jesus Christ.
Man, you know what though? I wonder if I'm kind of worried that people are now like, okay, not going to come on now because they don't want one little thing that they say to end up all over the internet. That I'm a little worried about that, because that sucks if that's the case, man.
No, actually, listen to me when I tell you this. This is so true. It would be intensified from any guest to come on here because we are a smaller show. If that were to have happened on a larger show, it would not have been that big of a deal to them. It still would have gotten out there and gotten even more attention. But to, let's say, Barry, for example, he might have been upset, but because the show's so large, he would say, you know what? I said it. It is what it is. We'll get past this. But the smaller the show is, the more that would happen with the guest and or future guest. Does that make sense? You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Because we're easier to pick on. You're like, who do you think you are? But they have to understand that none of this was planned. None of this was done on purpose. None of this was out of malice on anyone's part. It just was a thing that happened, and so on and so forth. So to your point, is we're low-hanging fruit because we're a smaller show. So you look at it and go, oh, they were just trying to get attention. They were just trying to get plays or whatever.
Likes and clicks and yeah.
But if you're Howard or you're Rogan or somebody like that, and that were to happen on there, I mean, that happens on those shows every single time. Yeah. Like there's not a clip that's posted from any big show, McAfee, any of those shows, that's not titillating or clickbaity. None of them. They're always like that.
It's intentional. Exactly. And the for the fans that have weighed in, they're like, that was that was a great episode. That was one of my favorite ones y'all have done, if not my favorite with Barry, So like the people that get it and they were like, I saw the whole thing and I didn't take that away from it at all or any of that. They were like I saw you guys having a good time talking and shit about old times and having fun talking about music and stuff. Like they didn't take any kind of hatred or malice or anything. It wasn't it just wasn't in the air. That's why I was so like, wow, okay. Like you can't say anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, you can't say anything and it could get just fucking
smart
plastered
people,
all over the internet.
Smart people say what you just said. That's what they took out of it. What scratches my soul is that, we're on episode 34 as of this episode. And all along, one of our goals was to get one of the guys from Shinedown and reunite you guys in this setting, because we knew that would be extremely beneficial, mainly to Shinedown fans and also to rock fans. Mm-hmm. When we discussed it from day one, who it was going to be, who knew? And it just happened to be Barry, which was great. So it happens. And instead of walking away from it in months and years or whatever, looking back on how beautiful of a moment it was between you guys, it's, all this negative, ludicrous stuff is taken over. And that's what upsets me, is because I want people to watch that episode and go, man, that was so cool to see you guys, like Brad and Barry, in the same, forum and talking about that stuff. And God, I can only imagine if you guys, you're playing together, that kind of chemistry and you're feeding, like that stuff's cool to the fans. And I'm a fan. And that's how I come, on this podcast as a fan. My other one's a little bit different, but I'm a fan. So that's what bothers me about it the most, is that that's what people are going to take away. Because most of those people with those dickhead comments, they didn't listen, they didn't watch the whole episode.
No, and that's the thing. They take one little piece and then they just go off on that's like they may not even know the history of what he was even doing on our show. Some of them.
Yeah, possibly.
I mean, it's just sad, And I mean, and honestly, dude, a lot of the newer fans of the band might not know me or who I am, because those first two records they may have came on at record 4 or 3.
That's true.
But the fans of the band are coming to his rescue, and mine too, and yours too. So I mean, I would hope, because they're smart enough to see that this shit was completely blown out of proportion, and they're smart also knowing that it just. Especially if they watched it and they saw what was really happening, it was good chemistry again between the two of us. We're reconnecting. It
was awesome.
And you go back to the very beginning, so that's what was happening. It was nothing to do with that shit, man. Like, fuck.
Yeah. Anyway, that's hopefully it'll be over and done with, and we'll move on to our next shitty negative publicity.
Our next stunt. I like. That wasn't even a stunt. Like, what the fuck? I barely even remember that he said that shit. It's so weird.
So outside of SeaWorld, February 1, I don't even know. So this episode is released on the 30th. So this weekend, I'll see you at SeaWorld. Anything else going on in the saliva world that you'd like to share? Did you share my email with Bobby about going to Russia and what that individual said?
I did.
What do you say about it? Can you share?
Well, yeah,
that's never good.
Obviously, I mean, basically my wife was like, you ain't going, at least not anytime soon, until shit's better over there. And basically told him, and I said, hey man, this guy wrote this, to Jason on the show, and we read it on the show, and Barry weighed in on it. Barry had been there before and gave his opinion and was worried for me and for us. Mm-hmm. And Bobby's wife Amber was like, I'm gonna reach out, I want to do a little more digging and get a little more information first, because I was like, can you give me some more, what cities are we playing, who's putting this on, what's our security detail gonna be like, how long are we gonna stay there? Like, I need to know a lot more before you go up to New York and go get our visas, and the visas are like $2 or $3 grand each. It's a big thing happening. You don't just roll in there like going to Canada or something. It's a thing. It's a process. So, one of the managers' other bands was going to go there next month, and so they actually postponed that band until April, and they postponed postponed our band going there for a few months too.
That's good. I think that's the right call.
That's a right call until we can see what's really happening. You know,
if you really want to play another country, you can go around the world at Epcot in like an hour.
That's right. Especially when they have the food and wine festival, which, Fuel used to play that. That was a lot of fun down there. We'd play like several nights. We do a couple sets each night. Shit, that was awesome.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's a good time. And it's a lot safer, to be
you can go and have some sauerkraut and some Russian, some vodka, some Stoli. You can get ripped down there and not even have to leave the fucking the park there, or the state.
Tacos, the Belgian chocolate, the German bratwurst. I mean, you can do it all.
It's killer down there. I had a lot of fun at Epcot. That was cool.
I was just down there a couple weeks ago. We had some friends in town, and we went around the world and did that whole gimmick. And they'd never been to Epcot before. God, I hadn't been since I was a kid, and I was like, look, not for nothing, but I'm a little bit of a theme park pro, so let me lead the charge on this. And that duty got taken from me like right out of the gates because they paid for the tickets. So I was like, this is your vacation, so you do whatever you want to do. And they're bouncing here, bouncing here, bouncing there. I'm like, this is not how you do it. I was like, whatever you do, you got to go in the ball. I mean, like, that's the gimmick, right? You got to go in the ball.
Yeah.
So we never went in the ball. We're leaving and it's late and it's raining. And I was like, I got to get home. The dogs, it's going to take us an hour and a half to get home. I was like, dude, we got to go. We can't go to the ball. So, cause they wanted to wait for this new Guardians of the Galaxy ride, which is, it was like a 2-hour wait. I'm like, I've never waited for 2 hours for anything.
No.
And then I
find fast pass that shit or something, or go first thing right when you get to the park, right when it opens, go first thing.
Well, then I find out it's like a roller coaster, and I don't do roller coasters. So I'm standing in line, and then I got to find a way out. So I got to go against traffic to get out and look like a little pansy boy. I was like, let me hold purses. I'll be outside and do that.
And you waited all that time to just bail on the thing?
Yeah.
Damn. Do you get sick on the roller coaster?
No, I have
like a motion thing.
I have a control problem. So I like to control a lot. And
you'd be a good lead singer. Most lead singers are control freaks. Seriously. But I ain't naming any names because it's gonna hit the headlines.
Here's the thing: is that people give control freaks a negative vibe, and there's a lot of positive to people that are control freaks because everything gets done, and it might not necessarily get done the way you want to get done.
nicely,
but they're hard workers. They've got great work ethic, and they're passionate, and they have a vision, and they're willing. They should be willing to take, fall on the sword if shit doesn't go right because they are in control.
Accountability,
and
that's a big thing. Yeah.
I know
most people are not, they don't have that. They don't have account. That's the number one thing, accountability.
And control freaks usually hold themselves first and foremost accountable to the point where it makes them a perfectionist and they're their own worst critic. Sometimes not even times to be criticized, but they criticize themselves anyway. I'm that guy. I'll tell you, I spent 3 hours the other day putting together a reel for the podcast. And when it was all done, I thought it sucked. So I deleted it all. Who does that? Right.
Dude, I spent sometimes hours and hours and hours on song ideas. And then I'm like, man, fuck, I hate it. I just go like, man, like what happened? Like I was so stoked about this idea. And then you kind of like, it's kind of like people have like, they call writer's block.
Right.
Right. And you're like, every idea, you're like, it's shit. You used to have that really bad? John Lennon. He thought everything he came up with was shit. And then he's like, wow, all these people really like my shitty songs. But they were great fucking songs, of course. They're fuck.
Yeah.
But, well, at least the first part of being a control freak is admitting that you're a control freak.
Oh, I know who I am. Look, at 50 years old, like I figured it out. Like I know my ups, I know my downs, I know my goods, I know my bads. And I've got to a point where like, I'll meet you halfway if it's good for both of us, but I sure the fuck ain't changing just because you want it to. I mean, I've been told that my whole career. It's like, well, he's a changed guy now. He did, like, my agent used to always say that to people, like, oh, he's changed a lot. I was like, stop saying that. I haven't changed. I've tweaked. I've matured. I've evolved just like anybody else is. But I'm still, like, I wasn't a bad person then. Like, what are you talking about? I was working for a guy that would sexually harass women at work. Why am I the bad guy? What are you talking about? This guy was cheating on his wife with the promotions girl. How am I the bad guy? Like, I'm a loyal husband and father. How am I the bad? Because I have an opinion, I'm the bad guy. So, you get to a point where become your own boss, make your decisions, do what's best for you and your family, make sure there's food on the table, wake up with a smile, be as healthy as you can, and fuck the rest of the world. That's just let them do what they got to do out there. If it doesn't affect any of those things, don't bother with the noise, man. Just don't bother with the noise. Too many people getting other people's shit. Just you do you. If you need help, I'll help you. But other than that, you got to do your own thing, right? Should be a preacher. How about a life motivator?
Preach on, man. Preach. Yeah, motivate like was that Chris Farley bit?
Oh yeah. Down by the river.
Man, down by the river.
So the Russian gig has been postponed.
Yes, and even if, and then I'm told when and if it ever does happen, I'm not supposed to talk about it. So there's that. So if I go missing a few months from now, you'll know where I am, somewhere in Russia. Actually, no, my wife, I honestly, it's not even up to her. It was more just like, why are we doing this again? Like, isn't there better opportunities abroad besides a country we're kind of in a proxy war with and have been for quite some time, let alone went through the Cold War against this. I mean, there's got to be other places, right? I mean, so anyway.
Did you get in trouble talking about it on the show?
A little bit. Well, it was more put to me like, we don't need to go out and promote it if we do go there. And I was like, I was never promoting it. I was just saying we may go there at some point soon. I wasn't doing it to get people on the podcast to go to Russia to see, or people that live in Russia that listen to the podcast. They probably can't listen to the podcast. They're not allowed to. They probably can't even get it. You know what I mean? So it's not like I was promoting it, but I did mention to you that we may go.
Well, we do have a listener from Belarus. That's
cool. Yeah, okay. Come on out if we do. maybe there could be security.
So the person, whoever said that to you, not to get in your business, but we would have never received that email if you didn't talk about it.
This is true. So everything happens for a reason, and I'm glad we talked about it because nothing had been booked yet anyway. But I mentioned it, and we did talk about it. Thank God the person sent the email and made us look at it a little more closely.
All right. So whoever's reprimanding you should actually be thanking you.
Right. It wasn't. And look, I don't want to come on here and spill the beans about anything, but if you're talking about news about the band, I'm going to say what we have. We may have these things happening for the band, whether they're booked or not, and then they may go away. It's not like I'm telling tales out of school and shit, right? But you're right. Had that not come up, then the person that has been there or knows how these things can go down, especially in times like these. I'm glad. That's why I was like, please read it on the show because I want to fucking hear it, man. Right? I don't want to know.
So this is again the learning curve for you, being a personality, and just talking about stuff openly. Yeah. I mean, there's no rhyme or reason behind content that like that, like you're not trying to hurt somebody or spill beans or secrets or anything like that. It's just content and conversation.
Yeah.
People that are around you that aren't used to you being that guy, it's going to be a big learning curve for them, knowing that you have now the power to do that, and that you are going to do that because this is now part of your growth and your lifestyle. I mean, hopefully we can grow this podcast. It becomes a bigger to do, all kinds of this and this and this and that. Possibly, maybe you go off and do your own thing and it becomes extremely successful, whatever the case may be. But it's just another avenue. People have to get used to that, especially if it's not in your contract that you can't do it.
Oh, there's no contract that says I can't do this anywhere. So yeah, there's that. I mean, and thankfully, it's some freedom with that. But with freedom comes great responsibilities. That's some Spider-Man shit, right? No, but you're right. I mean, I never was really an outspoken person. I still am not. You ask me to do shit, and I'm like, nope, I'm not doing it. Even to promote this show, I'm like, I feel weird doing that. But I'll come on here and say shit in this realm like we do when we do the show, and I feel comfortable doing that in a way. And there's some things that we avoid, of course, and we don't. We want to, like, of course, you're like, you want to talk about conspiracies and aliens and shit, and it should be about music, which sometimes we do. The occasional alien thing comes up, which, man, real quick. Are you familiar with the Skywatchers thing?
From the Skin Ranch?
No. That's Skinwalker. Ranch. No. Skywalkers. Like Skywatchers.
I was going to say like Luke and Leia. Yeah, sure.
No. The Skywatchers. There's a couple parts. There's a couple parts you can still watch on YouTube, but I believe it's part 1 and part 2 of it. Yeah. But the rest of it, I believe, has been taken down.
Oh, what is it? First off,
well,
glad you asked.
You should watch it. It's interesting. There's these guys out there that are looking for basically scientific proof that these non-human intelligence sort of things are out there, and that they can document it, and that they can measure it. They can and these guys are like non-believers. They're like data guys. They're going strictly by the data. They're not like, Lou Elizondo. They're not like these pro alien type people, ancient aliens guys. They're not. They're like scientists, right? And anyhow, it's an interesting thing. There's some things on Twitter, on X, you can look, and there's a couple guys on there. Some are ex-military, some are whistleblowers for the Pentagon and stuff. And so I think I find it to be fascinating because of the way they're approaching it. Yeah. Because they're approaching it to where they could hand the information off to other people that can analyze it and give their opinion of it, instead of it being like a story told secondhand. They're like, no, we have these things called psionic assets. There's these guys that use their consciousness to attract these things into our area, into our world. And when they do so, we get things happening that we can videotape, or that we can video and show and measure and see how fast the thing was going. And it's interesting. Watch it. It's like,
Okay, I will. Maybe I'll reach out to them too after I watch it and see if they'll come on the show. You'd like that. That'd be a treat for you.
Man, that'd be awesome. I still want to have Bob Lazar on here, dude.
Look, dude, I'll have anybody on if they want to come on. If any of the Vinyl Roadies want to reach out to any of these people, and I know you guys have requested in the private Facebook group for the Vinyl Roadies, some of these artists and whatnot, and we're getting there. We'll see what happens. So anyway, all right, let's wrap it up. All right. All Saliva News, saliva.com. Follow on social media. Follow myself. Follow Brad. All the stuff related to the Vinyl Road podcast at the Vinyl Road podcast on Instagram, the BPX, and all the shows. You can get that information on jasonbailey.com. Please subscribe to the BS, the other shows that I do. That'd be very nice. Also, merch. If you'd like to grab some merch, got some new Valentine's Day merch for all the shows, including the Vinyl Road. If you'd like to get a Vinyl Road Rock Candy t-shirt or hoodie or shorts
for your sweetheart,
that is up on jasonbailey.com in the merch store. All right, you got anything before we get out there, Brad?
Gratitude, grateful. Thank you all for listening. Thanks to the Vinyl Roadies. Thanks for y'all for sharing this and liking it, and also when things went south, thank you for weighing in and letting us know that you support. You realize what we're here for, and that it wasn't about to what it became, especially last week.
I would say, continue to find those different articles and back Barry's play. Like, I mean, just those people that sound stupid and that are hating on everything, go and let them know that there's a whole show of other stuff that they should be watching and listening to and commenting on. Feel free to, become an army of the Vinyl Road podcast and go out there and do your thing. So that'd be pretty cool.
And I saw people doing that though. People were like, well, no, go watch the rest of the episode. And I saw them doing that on the side. Now, of course, there was a ton of haters too, but
Anyway,
yep. All right.
Have yourself a great, safe rest of your day. If you're going to be doing some drinking, I understand. I get it. you've had too much, please don't get behind the wheel of a car. I've lost way too many friends like that. Don't want to see that happen to you. And don't be posting shit on social media or you will lose a lot of friends like that. Until next time, talk to you soon. Bye.
I think we should do a podcast about rock and roll. I got some stories.
That's it for this episode. Check out jasonbailey.com for more shows. Until next time.
I'm an alien.
3 different shows, 5 days a week, 1 feed, details, and to subscribe, jasonbailey.com.